Going into the 2023 season, I decided to predict the most potent bats in the Blue Jays lineup, but not in the way you were thinking. You see, for each prediction, I have a historic comparison to show what I believe to be the optimistic, realistic, and pessimistic forecasts for each player are in the more prominent stats, that being home runs, average, OBP, slugging, OPS, and O-WAR. There will be 7 more videos like this to follow with the other players in the Blue Jays lineup, and in this video, we will be focusing on Vladdy. For Vlad's optimistic outlook, I believe it could look similar to Ryan Braun's 2012 season. During that season, Braun slugged 41 home runs, hit .319, had a .391 OBP, and a .595 slugging to put his OPS at .987 and an O-WAR of 6.1. What's crazy to think about is how Vlad had an even better stat line than this just 2 years ago. But it wouldn't take a genius to realize he regressed last season. Don't get me wrong, Vlad had yet another impressive all-star campaign and led the Jays in pretty much every offensive category. However, I still think we have to look optimistically rather than realistically to see another stat line like this for Vladdy, at least until we see a little more consistency from him. When comparing Vlad's past 2 seasons, it is easy to tell what made his 2021 so successful. Spoiler alert, it was his change in launch angle. When looking year by year, Vladdy produced a launch angle of 6.7 degrees in 2019, 4.6 degrees in 2020, 9.4 degrees in 2021, and this past season, his launch angle went back down to 4.3 degrees. Launch angle is such an important statistic because it represents the vertical angle at which the ball leaves a player's bat after being struck. With Vladdy's launch angle dipping dramatically from 2021, it is no surprise his ground ball to fly ball ratio also increased from 1.3 to 1.7. We can see how this directly correlates to the amount of home runs Vladdy achieves, with his dip from 48 in 2021 to 32 in 2022. Even if you don't know or follow baseball, by looking at how these stats correspond with each other, you'll be able to understand that Vlad needs to improve on his launch angle in order to replicate his 2021 success. Moving on to a realistic season, I went with Paul Goldschmidt's 2021 campaign. Goldie accumulated 36 home runs, a .294 average, .365 OBP, and a .521 slugging for an .879 OPS and a 5.30 WAR. When looking at Baseball Reference, you can see they have a very similar projection for Vladdy, predicting 31 home runs, a .290 average, a .363 OBP, and a .514 slugging for an .878 OPS. With this projection, it will be an improvement of 60 points for his OPS this past season, and doesn't seem unrealistic for Vladdy to achieve. Just this past season, 4 out of the 6 months Vladdy posted an OPS between .847 and .938, which are all-star-like numbers. It was just in May and September when Vlad posted an OPS below that mark. We've seen this before, Vlad having some cold streaks throughout the year, and it's completely normal and every player goes through this each season. Nonetheless, a season in which Vladdy can produce a stat line like Goldie's would be monumental for the Blue Jays, especially with the subtraction of Lourdes and Teo. And lastly, onto my pessimistic prediction, which is Adrian Gonzalez's 2015 campaign. In 2015, Gonzalez hit 30 home runs to go along with a .275 average, a .350 OBP, and a .480 slugging, good for an .830 OPS and a .30 WAR. This outlook would go hand in hand with Vlad's 2022 statistics. Last season, Vladdy had 32 home runs, a .274 average, a .339 OBP, and a .480 slugging for an .818 OPS and 3.70 WAR. With these stats, he would again get an all-star nod and lead the Jays in most offensive categories. But with a stat line like this, I'm sure the Jays organization and fans will be left wanting more. Which is completely fair. Ever since he broke into the media in the minor leagues for mashing home runs, everyone has expected the world of him. And after witnessing his incredible 2021 season, we've gotten a taste of what he can do in the big leagues. The only thing I would like to remind Blue Jays fans is that even with this pessimistic prediction of an .830 OPS, it would still be the second highest of Vlad's career. If you were able to make it all the way to the end, thank you so much. This is just part 1 of a 7-part series where I'll be giving outlooks on the more prominent bats in the Blue Jays lineup. This includes Bichette, Springer, Chapman, Varsho, Belt, Jano, and Kirk. If you like this video and are interested in seeing the rest of my content, please subscribe, like, or comment. I'm a small creator, but I have a lot of love for the game of baseball, and I enjoy making videos like these so I can interact with other like-minded people. I want to build a baseball loving community here, and I hope you'll stick around for the long run of this channel.